Good evening, my dear friends, and welcome to our Tuesday evening part of our Lenten retreat. And it's good to have your company at this hour. And I see that Sister Miriam from New Zealand has joined us, with Sister Sue and Marina Sunsets again. Wow, it's lovely to have you here with us, Marina, and whoever else has not logged in, blessings and welcome. I want to begin by just inviting you to be still. And I want to play for you now, if I may, a beautiful soundtrack that means the world to my heart, because I've played it in quite a few countries around the world before I became an enclosed monk in 2008. And I want to dedicate it to you, but I want you to imagine that the words are being sung to you by Jesus, the barefoot Galilean. And the theme and title of the song is called I Knew You Would Come Home. And it's by a dear friend, a Jesuit priest who's now in Peru. So I dedicate this to all of you. Dreamt so long that we would meet again. I never doubted you, I knew you would return. I have longed to see the moment you would come to me, through a note bearing all the love we shown. I trusted you, I loved you so, I hoped in you, I knew you would come home. And I believed you were here, sometimes my heart could see you. I believed in you, somehow could sense you near me. To say so many things to comfort you, to hold you safe and welcome in my arms, in the long and silent moments when the stars appear, to speak the love which keeps you from all harm. And gathers you and holds you still, guarding you from fear, while the loneliness and darkness disappear. I have called in my heart for you, searching this lonely time, wanting to tell you that even in darkness our love has grown. And I believed you were here, sometimes my heart could see you. I believed in you, somehow could sense you near me. I trusted you, I loved you so, I hoped in you, I knew you would come home. I trusted you, I knew you would come home. Let us stay with those words. I trusted you, I knew you would come home. Our celebration of Lent, it's not a time of sadness, it's a time of celebration. A celebration of what? It's the celebration of the life of a young man who voluntarily gave his life out of love for your freedom and mine. And though we are pilgrims on this earth plane, and though we have struggles to overcome, the one thing that is for sure, that he is by our side. And our Lenten celebration is about acknowledging that someone would give their life for our freedom. Reflect on those words, for those words are truths. They're not fiction, they are truths, as you will have found if you read the story of the Passion of Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful story. It's the story about selfless love. How one could be so brave as to relinquish the rights to life, so as to set free those who are held in bondage. And you and I are blessed in many, many ways. But sadly, the world we live in today is so full of excitement and quick fixes and easy opt-out clauses. To be a pilgrim today in service to God is not an easy option, I give you my word. It's a challenging option, but it's one done out of love, not out of fear, and not out of servitude. For the one we surrender our heart to is the I am presence of God, and that presence is here in our heart. Allow me to read to you a reflection for this evening, and it's by Henry J.M. Ewan, who lived from 1932 to 1996, a Dutch Catholic priest who spent 20 years teaching in the Netherlands and the United States, whilst giving the final years of his life to teaching and ministering at the L'Arche Daybreak community in Toronto. A prolific writer, his books include The Wounded Healer, The Return of the Prodigal Son, which is awesome, Here and Now, and The Way of the Heart. And this extract, Can You Drink the Cup? Can you drink the cup? And it's called the cup of joy. The cup of joy. The cup of life is the cup of joy as much as the cup of sorrow. It is the cup in which sorrows and joys, sadness and gladness, mourning and dancing are never separated. If joys could not be where sorrows are, the cup of life would never be drinkable. That is why we have to hold the cup in our hands and look carefully to see joys, yes, joys hidden in our sorrows. Can we look up to Jesus as to the man of joys? Well, can we? It seems impossible to see joy hanging with outstretched arms on a wooden cross. Still, the cross of Jesus is often presented as a glorious throne on which the King is seated. There, the body of Jesus is portrayed not as racked by flagellation and crucifixion, but as a beautiful, luminous body with sacred wounds. That is so beautiful. The cross of San Damiano that spoke to Francis of Assisi is a good example. It shows the crucified Jesus as the victorious Jesus. The cross is surrounded by splendid gold. The body of Jesus is a perfect, immaculate human body. The horizontal beam on which he hangs is painted as the open grave from which Jesus rose. And all those gathered under the cross with Mary and John are full of joy. At the top we can see God's hand, surrounded by angels, drawing Jesus back to heaven. This is a resurrection cross. The cross of San Damiano in Assisi is a resurrection cross. Wow. Wow. And this is a resurrection cross in which we see Jesus lifted up in glory. And Jesus' words, when I am lifted up from this earth, I shall draw all people to myself. And that's taken from John 12, verse 32. I will draw all people, that's you and me, to himself. Refer not only to his crucifixion, but also to his resurrection. Being lifted up means not only being lifted up as the crucified one, but also being lifted up as the risen one. It speaks not only about agony, but also about ecstasy, not only about sorrow, but also about joy. Joys are hidden in sorrows. I know this from my own times of depression, and those of us who live with depression, who manage the dynamics of depression, can identify with this. I know it from living with people with mental handicaps. I know it from looking into the eyes of patients and from being with the poorest of the poor. We keep forgetting this truth and become overwhelmed by our own darkness. We easily lose sight of our joys and speak of our sorrows as the only reality there is. We need to remind each other that the cup of sorrow is also the cup of joy. That precisely what causes us sadness can become the fertile ground for gladness. Indeed, we need to be angels for each other, to give each other strength and consolation, because only when we fully realize that the cup of life is not only a cup of sorrow, but also a cup of joy, will we be able to drink it. Can you drink the cup? Can you drink the cup of love? If you read in St. John chapter 12, verses 27 to 36, that's chapter 12, verses 27 to 36, you will read, Father, glorify your name, glorify your name. And the prayer we share with you, generous God, we are truly grateful for the way you lavish your love on us and for giving us much more than we deserve. When we are overcome by pain and sorrow, help us to drink from the cup of joy, so that our lives immersed in yours may reflect your victory, and our sadness become the fertile ground for gladness. Let us come and let us meditate slowly and graciously of the cross of San Damiano. Let us look and see Jesus, the King of Kings. Let us witness the triumph of love over evil, joy over sadness. Let us come back to our heart. Let us come to our heart and let us go into our heart and there find the beloved who is waiting to speak with us. Where we are right now, we are part of the mystical heart of God. And we are in Christ, and He is in us. And He's drawing us into His heart. His arms are around us. He's drawing us out of love to come to His heart. And we rest our head against His heart, and we can hear His heartbeat, a beautiful beat, a gracious beat of love. And that beat of love is flowing right into you right now. It is a beat of selfless love. And that selfless love takes no prisoners or fair weather friends. It is a love that asks only once, will you come and follow me? Will you be willing to take up your cross daily in joy and follow me? Are you willing to deny yourself so as to be one with me? Are you willing to be my hands and my feet and my beating heart? Are you? And suddenly He brings to you the cup of life. You see before you the chalice of the most exquisite crystal, glistening in the rays of divine love, and He lifts it up before you. He holds it right in front of you, and He asks you to take it and to drink from it. But first He asks you, do you love me? Or do you love yourself more? Because if you love me, you will surrender your heart to me, and I will love you more. And your reply is, Lord, allow me take this chalice of life, and allow me drink of it, and experience your joy and your love. And you place your hands on the sacred chalice, and in that chalice is His lifeblood, His very essence He's offering to you, so that you can become Christ's head, an extension of His love for the world, and bring His love to those who are hurting, to those who are rejected and despised, to the marginalized, to the modern day lepers, those that are castigated from society, maybe those who are on benefit, those in prison on drugs, engaged in prostitution, child slavery, those on death row. He asks you to take the chalice of his love. Stay with that now. Hold the chalice and feel his love for you. For there is no greater love. There is no other love but the love of Christ. And he's offering it to you now. Experience his love as you drink from this chalice, his most precious love, and allow this love flow through you, for this love is God's gift of himself to you. He offers you the hand of friendship because he's called you by name. Come, my beloved. Come and celebrate joy in your sorrows. And in holding the chalice of life, you are holding the Father, Mother, God and their Son. And all around you there are angels singing the great Alleluia in joy, because you have come home to your heart, your teacher, the gateway to your soul, the gateway to God. You are a beloved of God. And that's why Jesus loves you. And he asks nothing of you, only to receive his precious gift of love. So rest in his love now. Rest in his love, and let his love reawaken your heart to who you are and why you are here and what is your life purpose. Ask him. Ask him to speak with you now. Be still. Be still in the presence of the most beautiful, selfless being that God ever made. It is Jesus, the barefoot Galilean, who loves you, who desires you, who desires your love. And in taking the chalice from your hands, the angels come and take the chalice back to the throne of God. And Jesus draws you now to rest in his arms. Like a babe in its mother's arms, you are now resting in the arms of the beloved, your first love. And you are relaxed now. You are safe. You have come home to the true meaning of Lent, a time of celebration, a time of joy mingled with sorrow, but a time of celebrating who you are, a child of God, a child who is loved more than anything that God has created. For you are a new creation, a people set apart to sing the praises of God. By living your life as best you can, mingled with the sorrows, the heartache, and the sufferings. But you do it in joy. And I'm guided now by my heart to read the prayer again. Generous God, we are truly grateful for the way you lavish your love on us and for giving us much more than we deserve. When we are overcome by pain and sorrow, help us to drink from the cup of joy, so that our lives immersed in yours may reflect your victory, and our sadness become the fertile ground for gladness. What a beautiful prayer. Let us thank God for this truly amazing man, Henry J.M. Newen. And I endorse all his works, for he walked the talk, a true servant of love. Be still and know that whatever life throws at you, you are not alone. You are one with God. And all you have to do is holler his name, call on him, and he will come to you. He's come to me many times when I've fallen in the gutter. Oh yes, I have fallen down many, many times and almost given up. But then a spark comes and you hear his voice. I called you by name. I carved you on the palm of my hand. Come. And suddenly you forget about your depression and your illness and your chronic pain, and you rise up and he touches you and he fills you with joy. That's my prayer for you tonight. That the Lord who loves you will give you the impetus to surrender to love. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to your company again. Please take care, and Miriam, my love to Molly, have a beautiful day there in Dunedin, and to the rest of us, to Martina, to Maria and to Sue and those not logged in, blessings, blessings, blessings.